I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script every scene. This from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang the regime. I'm from Piney Green.
What's good, it's Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joke, and I'm back at it again with a brand new video, and this is the one. This one right here, episode 5 of the Amazon series All or Nothing, covering the Panthers season, all access behind the scenes. This is the episode, the biggest one, the most important one, and I think the most eye-opening episode from the whole season. This is a really good one, a really important one, and I'll get to what I mean in the second half of this video, and I am going to go, I gotta be really honest when I talk about what happens in the second half of this episode. But the episode starts off talking about the Ravens game and talking about how Cam's shoulder is already an issue. Now, we already know that this Ravens game happens before the Steelers game. And in a lot of people's minds, Cam's shoulder issues, his throwing issues, started right at that Steelers game. And that's when we saw, the biggest difference in Cam's game. But it was apparent that Cam's shoulder was becoming an issue even before then. I don't think that Cam was actually ever 100% this season. Even though he looked good in some of the games earlier on, I'm not 100% sure if that surgery really did the job it was supposed to, that cleanup from 2017. So I'm not really all that sure about that. But we saw that he was having issues going to this Ravens game. Didn't really get that much practice. And I think he only had 2 days of actual real practice throwing before the games. And speaking of practice, we start seeing some pretty heavy rain practices. Guys practicing in the rain, that is not a really great look. And obviously we know we're getting the bubble up right now, and that won't be an issue going forward. We have the bubble in Charlotte, and we're getting the whole facilities going on in Rock Hill, I believe it is. So we won't have that issue anymore this upcoming season in the future. We get to the Ravens game, and we all hear about how they're the #1 defense, best in the league. They're showstoppers, hit the quarterback, and their secondary was still good. I'm trying to figure out where and when and who and what, because we did the thing against them, bro. We really did do the thing against them. And we saw Christian McCaffrey absolutely leap over, I think it was Carlton Davis. Is he a rookie? Was he a rookie last year? Or is he a rookie? I think he was a rookie in 2017. So he was a second-year guy. Either way, the point is, Christian McCaffrey jumped over that man like he was a Kia. He looked like Blake Griffin in that really bad dunk contest. What was it, 5-7 years ago? I don't remember when it was. That was a terrible dunk. He jumped over the side of a Kia. But still, that was basketball. Christian McCaffrey doing it made it look good. That was wild. We saw that play on SportsCenter and everywhere for a good 2-3 weeks. That was whenever someone gets hurled in the NFL, it's a really good day. That was also the same game where I think Curtis Samuel had that, it was a 20-yard, he had a 20-yard run, a 20-yard touchdown, but he ran 150 yards going right, turning back left, doing spin moves, juking dudes out, breaking tackles. We got to talk about this Steelers game. Talking about this Steelers game is a tough one because we know for a fact, proof positive, that David Tepper wanted to win that game. We know he came from being a minority owner at the Steelers and came and bought the Panthers. And look, when you want to beat the guys you came from. You want to go there at their house and do it. But you have to also understand it's an away game on a Thursday night, really short turnaround. The away team in a Thursday night game does not, it's a hard game to play, man. Unless it's a lopsided kind of game between a bad team at home and a really good team on the road. Usually the away team is just going to lose that game. It's just not a really good look. I don't like Thursday games. Well, hold up. I like watching Thursday night games, except for when it's the Panthers playing in them, because it's an injury risk and it's not really worth it. I mean, I love watching more football. I can't say no to more football. When I think about Carolina playing in a Thursday night game, I just don't like it at all. It's just a bad look for everything. And speaking of bad looks, do we have to even speak on this game? I won't even talk about the game at all. We lost by 31 points, and it really should have been 50. If the Steelers really wanted to, they could have ran it up on us. They really could have dropped a 50. They could have dropped, I don't want to speak on it. But what I do want to speak on here is something that I think that a lot of Panthers fans have seen. We saw a pretty extended segment covering Donte Jackson, our rookie cornerback, leading up to the Steelers game, where for some reason we plan to have Donte covering and shadowing AB. And it was kind of weird because our DB's coach, Richard Rodgers, I think it is, what's his name? I think it's Rodgers. He was talking about how when you're playing against AB, you have to put hands on him. You have to stuff him at the line. You have to at least get some kind of push on him because you give him a free release off to the races. you're not going to catch him. Even if you have a guy up top bracketing, look, it's not going to be a really good look if you don't push him off his timing, if you don't get this man at least a little bit, like off his game a little bit. So it was really confusing for me to see that it was always the plan all along to have Donte shadowing AB for the whole season and even into the preseason. People forget this, that one of the biggest questions we had in the preseason was we were kind of questioning the defensive coordinator, talking about like, wait. Why is Donte Jackson playing 15 yards off the line of scrimmage in the preseason? And we kept hearing from the writers, from the team, and in the interviews, the post-game, all that kind of stuff, we kept hearing that, look, we're just trying new things out. He's not going to play like this. We're just seeing how he looks playing off the ball. It won't be a big issue. He's going to be on the line of scrimmage. He'll be closer in games. That never happened. Donte always played off man for the, let's call it, I won't say always, let's call it 95, 97% of his snaps. He was not playing press. So if your plan of action was to have a guy play press against a receiver, why would you put a corner who you never allowed to play press on him and not the corner who is one of the best press corners in the league? Why not have James Bradbury press this man, Antonio Brown? Was Bradbury out that game? I don't remember. I mean, look, was James Bradbury not playing in that Steelers game? I don't like that we had a guy play against what he's been told to do all season against one of the best receiver in the league last year. You changed the game plan against Antonio Brown with that guy, Ben Roethlisberger. That's not what you do. But that's not really the biggest issue here. My biggest problem here, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now because we're still cool right now. And a lot of people, when they hear what they don't like to hear, they just close their ears. What I'm about to say right now is not an indictment on Donte Jackson saying he's a bad teammate, a bad player, a bad person, that he can't grow, or that he's, too immature to do anything. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that what we saw in those segments that All Nothing showed us was a guy who could not be coached, didn't want to hear anything from anyone, and it just was not a good look. You see this tweet right here from him, the way that All Nothing TV portrayed me is actually the opposite of what I really am. That was a tough season. I wasn't the only guy in that building tired of losing. Now, look, first off, All or Nothing didn't portray Donte Jackson as anything. They were narrating, but they weren't commentating or editorializing anything. They weren't saying or giving an opinion saying, oh man, look at him right here not being able to get coached. Look at him, being abrasive. Look at Donte Jackson not being a good teammate, a good guy. They didn't say any of that. They just showed the clips of what happened and let the viewer decide what they saw. I mean, that's all that happened. And what you saw from Donte Jackson in those multiple clips, it wasn't like it was a 5-second thing or people said they nitpicked certain things or whatever. But what you saw was a guy who, in practice, had to be told things multiple times. And then he had a one-on-one with Jeff Imamura, who was the assistant DB's coach and is now the actual full DB's coach for the team. He had a one-on-one where Jeff's like, hey man, we got to work on this, this, and this. And Donte's basically brushing him off saying, look, I don't want to be coached. I don't want to hear any of that. You guys are babying me. I don't want to, look, when you tell me to do things, if I'm on the field, I'm going to make mistakes and all that. Everyone makes mistakes on the field. I'm a rookie. I want to play my game. But when you try to give me advice, it only puts more things in my head and then I get confused and I get nervous. The dude literally said, I make mistakes, but I don't want more advice on how to play better because it makes me think too much. It puts too many thoughts in my head when I'm on the field. And the thing he said about being babied, they were doing the opposite of babying you. Babying you is allowing you to keep making those mistakes and not saying a single word to you. That's what babying is. And I found it kind of weird that, okay, maybe you don't respond well to coaches and it's the assistant DB's coach. It's not even the full DB's coach. But then you had the OGs coming. You had Mike Adams. You had Captain Munderland. You had Eric Reed. And Eric Reed didn't really talk that much in the segment that we saw. But Mike Adams and Captain Munderland were talking to him straight up, like straight face to face, saying, look, bro, when we're talking to you, bro, we're being 100% honest with you. We have your best intentions at heart, man. We know what you have to do. We know what it takes to win, what it takes to be in this game. We've been in the game for a long time. Mike Adams is 48 years old. He knows what it takes to stay in the league. But Donte Jackson was still brushing those guys off. He kept saying, bro, it doesn't matter. Look, you guys are so dead set on giving me advice on how to be a better player that I can't have conversations with you. And that to me just that just looked really bad, bro. I know he's a rookie. That's a horrible, horrible look, though. Obviously, we're not going to sit here and say that game was all on Donte, but let's not get it twisted either. He said he was tired of losing. Before that game, we'd only lost 2 games. We were 6-2, right? Was the team not 6-2 before week 10? Right? Am I missing something? Well, he said in the tweet. He wasn't the only guy in the locker room tired of losing. You lost the second game of the season, and then you only lost the game against the Redskins. It wasn't like the team. Didn't you just win the last 2 games straight? How are you tired of losing at that point in the season? And that to me just shows that even after the season's over, he is still unwilling to take accountability and to realize and to look into himself and be able to say, okay, it was my bad at that time. We can do better. I can grow. It is July right now. We were 7-9 on the season. But at that moment, before that game, when those clips were showing up, we were 6-2. So maybe he was tired of losing those 2 games. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was really mad, really angry. And maybe the other guys on the team around him were also just pissed off that the team lost a game in week 2 and then lost a game 2 weeks before the Pittsburgh game. And they were all being abrasive about that before week 10. I could be wrong. Look, who knows? That TJ Watt hit hurts me every time I watch it. I don't like watching that hit at all. It wasn't even flagged, bro. It wasn't even flagged. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I kind of got long-winded this episode, but I have to be objective here because I'll tell you the truth. If this were any other player on any other team and we saw these clips, we'd be going hard. We'd be going in on those players, especially if that player played for the Saints, the Falcons, or the Bucks. And if he doesn't want to be babied, you got to keep it real. If you don't want to be babied, let someone keep it real with you. And you're not going to watch this video. He's not going to see this video, but I'm going to keep it real right now. I'm not on the Panthers payroll, so I can say it. I'm not a cheerleader for them just yet, but let's talk about it. Anyway, I got to be real about it. He came off looking really bad, and that tweet just shows that I'm not 100% sure if he's actually grown just yet. But like I said, it's July now. We have a couple months before the season starts. And maybe he'll open himself up to being more perceptive and more receptive to advice. But you gotta let me know. He said he wasn't the only guy mad at losing. Explain that to me. Someone explain that quote to me because I do not get it. I don't get it. And one of the biggest marks of maturity is understanding that no matter how good you are, no matter how high you are up on the totem pole, that there are some things it's okay to do by yourself, but there are also a lot of other times where it's okay to have help. It's okay to let someone in and open yourself up to get advice. Everyone, even David Tepper has advisors. He takes advice all the time. The biggest names, the biggest guys all have someone behind them, giving them advice, letting them know what's up because, look, we all think we know what's best. But it's okay to have another perspective, another guy whose job it is, people whose job it is to coach you and to let you know what's going on. It's all right to let them open up and let you know what's happening, things that they see. And if nothing else, even if you disagree with them, at least consider what they're saying. That's all I got for you though, man. What are your thoughts on this episode? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.